Hello and welcome. We begin with the United States. U.S. Army defense Arlington worker pushed during Trump visit. Trump promises free IVF slam abortion plan. Ukraine says U.S. made F-16 firejet crash kills pilot. Japan's ruling party faces a generational clash for leader. And Macron defends granting citizenship to Telegram CEO drug. The United States Army has defended an Arlington National Cemetery ANC employee who was pushed aside during a visit by ex-President Donald Trump, saying that she acted professionally and was being unfairly attacked. The military seldom comments on political matters, and while its statement on Thursday did not openly mention Trump or his 2024 presidential campaign, it made reference to a ceremony that took place on Monday. That was the day Trump visited the cemetery and took part in a wreath-laying ceremony in honor of 13 service members killed during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. The incident happened when he went to Section 60 of the cemetery where troops are buried and which is considered hallowed ground in the military. Federal law and Pentagon policies do not permit political activities in that section of the cemetery, but videos were taken by Trump's campaign and used in advertisements. The Army statement said an ANC employee who attempted to ensure adherence to these rules were abruptly pushed aside. This incident was unfortunate, and it's also unfortunate that the ANC employee and her professionalism has been unfairly attacked, it added. Trump said during a speech in Michigan on Thursday that families of service members who died in Afghanistan had asked him to go to the cemetery and take photographs with them. He used the third anniversary on Monday of the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan to try to pin the chaotic pullout on his Democratic rival for the White House, Kamala Harris. The Arlington Cemetery incident has revived fears among some officials and experts that Trump could use the military for political purposes if he wins a second term. The U.S. military is meant to be apolitical, loyal to the U.S. Constitution, and independent of any party or political movement. While in office, Trump intervened and restored the rank of a Navy SEAL convicted of posing with the corpse of an Islamic State detainee and threatened to use soldiers to put down protests around the country. Trump has criticized some military officials since leaving office. "We really do not want to get involved in this," said a U.S. military official speaking on condition of anonymity. "But what happened at Arlington is not acceptable." The Army has said that it considers the matter closed since the employee did not press charges. On U.S. 2024 election, Donald Trump has vowed to make in vitro fertilization (IVF) treatment free for all women and criticized a 6-week abortion ban in Florida, the newest bid by the Republican to rebrand himself as a defender of reproductive rights. Trump, while speaking at a campaign stop on Thursday, said he will need the government or insurance companies to cover all costs for IVF if elected to a second term as president in November. "Because we want more babies, to put it very nicely," Trump told supporters in Portville, Michigan, a key battleground state. "But the IVF treatments are very expensive," the Republican Party candidate added. "It's very hard for many people to do it and to get it, but I've been in favor of IVF right from the beginning." Trump did not expatiate on how he will fund the plans. He also said he will permit new parents to deduct major newborn expenses from their taxes if re-elected. In an interview earlier on Thursday, Trump said a 6-week limit on abortion signed by the Republican governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is too short and there should be more time. Trump also appeared to suggest that he will vote in favor of an upcoming ballot measure in Florida to guarantee a right to an abortion until fetal viability, although a campaign advisor later said the former president had not revealed whether he will support the measure. Trump's comments come as he seeks to moderate Republicans' image on reproductive access, which has been cited as a drag on the party's standing among women. On Friday, Trump, who appointed 3 of the U.S. Supreme Court justices who voted to overturn the constitutional right to an abortion, said in a post on his Truth social media platform that his administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights. The Democratic Party candidate Kamala Harris has continually cast Trump as a threat to women's rights, including access to abortion, birth control, and fertility treatments. Addressing supporters in the swing state of Georgia on Thursday, Harris repeated her warning that Trump will sign a nationwide abortion ban in office. Senator J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate on Saturday, said, according to reports, that Trump will veto a national abortion ban if sent to his desk by Congress. Opinion polls suggest that Trump has lost support among women voters since the vice president replaced President Joe Biden as the Democratic contender. Away from the United States, now to Ukraine. Ukraine has declared that one of a handful of F-16 fighter jets given by its Western allies to fight Russia's invasion crashed while deterring a major Russian aerial attack. The pilot was killed in the incident, which took place on Monday after Russia launched over 200 missiles and drones in one of its biggest bombardments of the war. Ukraine's Western Air Command unit said on 26th August while repelling a Russian massive combined missile and airstrike, Oleksiy destroyed 3 cruise missiles and 1 attack drone. Oleksiy saved Ukrainians from deadly Russian missiles, unfortunately at the cost of his own life, it added. Merz, known by his call sign Moonfish, journey to the U.S. as part of his Ukraine's efforts to convince the United States and other NATO allies to send F-16s. In 2023, the U.S. approved the plan, and the first aircraft around in Kyiv in late July. Belgium, Denmark, and the Netherlands and Norway have committed to providing Ukraine with more than 60 F-16s. Russia's jet fleet, however, is about 10 times bigger. Ukraine's Ministry of Defense opened an inquiry into Monday's crash. A U.S. defense official said, according to reports, that the crash did not appear to be the result of Russian fire, and possible causes from pilot error to mechanical failure were being probed. Russia has continued its early bombardments of Ukraine since Monday's attack. Ukraine's Air Force on Thursday said air defenses stopped 2 out of 5 Russian missiles and 60 of the 74 Shahed drones that were fired. It said the 14 other drones are presumed to have fallen before reaching their aim. Authorities in the capital, Kyiv, said the debris of damaged drones fell in the 3 districts of the city, but there were no casualties. Ukraine says it requires at least 130 F-16s to neutralize Russian air power. F-16s can fly up to twice the speed of sound and have a maximum range of 3,200 kilometers, more than 2,000 miles. They can also fire modern weapons used by NATO countries. On politics, earlier this month, Fumio Kishida declared that he will not seek re-election as leader of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party (LDP) and was stepping down as Prime Minister. The announcement was sudden but not a shock. Kishida, who took office in October 2021, was battling with record low approval ratings over the rising cost of living and corruption scandals in the LDP. Given that most Japanese prime ministers have survived only a year or 2 in the job, Kishida's 3-year term remains the 8th longest in Japan's post-war history. But flawed by controversy, he said stepping aside was a chance for a reset. The degree of that reform will become visible next month as the LDP elects its next leader. Beyond deciding Japanese next prime minister, the outcome of the leadership race looks set to outline the direction of the governing party and Japanese politics for years to come. Kishida said it was significant for the party to have transparent and open elections and free and vigorous debates in the contest to show the people that the LDP is changing and the party is a new LDP. For much of the past year, the party has been involved in a corruption scandal in which members of one of its major and powerful factions were accused of failing to declare campaign money that has undermined the LDP's traditional power structures. According to Rintaro Nishimura, an associate in the Japan practice at the Asia Group, a Washington-based strategic advisory firm, the scandal has also triggered a desire for change, priming September's leadership race as a contest between the old guard and a younger generation. Emmanuel Macron, French president, has justified a decision to grant fast-track citizenship to indicted Telegram CEO Pavel Durov. Macron, while speaking at a news conference during a visit to Serbia, said that granting nationality to high-profile figures who learn French and contribute to the nation is good for our country. It's part of a strategy to allow women and men, whether artists, athletes, or entrepreneurs, when they make the effort to learn the French language and that they develop wealth, innovation to begin. to be given French nationality, Macron said, adding that he had no prior knowledge that Durov was traveling to France before his detention on Saturday, after reports said Durov told police that he was planning to meet the French leader. French prosecutors have accused Durov of complicity in criminal activity on the messaging app Telegram, including drug trafficking and the distribution of child sex abuse material. They also accused the Russian-born billionaire of refusing to share documents sought in investigations by law enforcement. Durov's lawyer has described it as totally absurd to associate the owner of social networking crimes that don't concern him directly or indirectly. His arrest has reignited long-simmering debates about freedom of speech, privacy, and policing harm in the online world. Prominent tech founders and internet freedom advocates, including ex-owner Elon Musk, whistleblower Edward Snowden, and Proton Mail founder Andy Yan, have condemned French authorities over the case, casting it as a threat to freedom of expression. Russia has also voiced worries, with Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov cautioning French authorities not to turn the case into a political persecution. Meanwhile, on more stories and on Israel-Gaza conflict, Israel allows Gaza-fight pauses for polio vaccinations. According to United Nations and Israeli officials, Israel has agreed to a series of halts in fighting in Gaza in September to permit young children in the enclave to be vaccinated for polio. The World Health Organization's representative for the West Bank and Gaza, Rick Pippercorn, said on Thursday that a pause will begin on September 1st and will be split into 3-day phases. We have a preliminary commitment for area-specific humanitarian pauses during the campaign, he said, adding that the pauses will roll out first in central Gaza for 3 days, followed by South Gaza, and then followed by North Gaza. An Israeli official said, according to reports, that polio vaccinations will begin in Gaza on September 1st. Each phase of the vaccination campaign is anticipated to take around 7 hours. During those hours, the vaccines will be able to enter the area on pause and be distributed. Bassem Naim, a member of Hamas's political bureau, said the militant group welcomed the push for a halt in Gaza to implement the vaccination drive. We are ready to cooperate with international organizations to secure this campaign, he added. Since the war, Gaza's near universal polio vaccine coverage has declined to just over 80%. Pippercorn told the United Nations press briefing that over 90% coverage was required to stop the outbreak in the besieged Palestinian territory. He cautioned that a 3-day period might not be enough to achieve adequate vaccination, adding that it has been agreed when needed, the campaign will be extended by 1 day per zone or even more when necessary. He added that it will be a 2-round vaccination campaign with a 4-week interval between the first and second doses. The resurgence of the virus eliminated in most of the developed world emphasizes the battles facing Gaza's 2 million residents who have lived under Israeli bombardment since October last year. Several people in the enclave are deprived of food, medical supplies, and clean water, with up to 90% of the population internally displaced. The goal of the immunization campaign is to vaccinate around 640,000 children under the age of 10 with 2 doses each. According to Pippercorn, 1.26 million doses of vaccines and 500 vaccine carriers have already been delivered to Gaza. Polio mostly affects children under 5 years old and can cause irreversible paralysis and even death. It's highly infectious and there is no cure. It can only be prevented by immunization, according to the WHO, World Health Organization. Now in African scenes, severe floods in northern Sudan kill at least 31. In northern Sudan, flood waters have swept through many communities and villages over the past 2 days, resulting in the deaths of dozens and collapsing of hundreds of homes. 31 people have died so far in the north of the country due to the floods, according to Sudanese civil defense spokesperson Qureshi Hussein. Heavy rain and flooding across Sudan this month has affected over 317,000 people, according to officials. Of those impacted, 118,000 people have been displaced, exacerbating one of the world's biggest displacement crunch due to the ongoing war in the country. Tuesdays marked 500 days since Sudan plunged into war after fighting broke out between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. Now, Senegalese Foreign Minister visits Russia to boost bilateral ties. On Thursday, Sergei Lavrov, Russian Foreign Minister, held bilateral meetings with his Senegalese counterpart Yassine Fall in Moscow. Senegal's Foreign Minister Yassine Fall, speaking during the joint news conference, said the two countries hoped to intensify collaboration on mineral exploration, energy, agriculture, scientific research, formation of hydrocarbon workers, as well as fisheries. She also noted that Senegal advocates for a peaceful solution to conflicts in the Sahel region, as well as the Russian-Ukraine crisis. We've also discussed the reduction of terrorist actions in the Sahel region and the urgent need to eradicate them. There are many conflicts that affect the world. Senegal encourages the finding of peaceful solutions negotiated in the different crises, being the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, but also in the heart of our continent, in Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, she said. By questioning the recent history, one realizes that the African and Russian wars carry a close relationship that goes back to the colonization of our continent and the fight against apartheid, Fall added. We take a breather now. When we come back, I'll bring you stories from Nigeria. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's Zuma Nigeria now, and we begin with Labour reacts strongly after Ajairo's police visit. Comrade Joe Ajaero, president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), yesterday declared that the Labour Centre's commitment to the ongoing battle for workers' rights will not be prevented. Speaking to a crowd of workers after returning from a police invitation over alleged terrorism financing, he expressed his gratitude for the solidarity shown by comrades across the country during what he described as the hardest of the job. The Labour leader was invited over allegations of criminal conspiracy, treasonable felony, subversion and cybercrime. In the company of the Congress's legal representatives led by Femi Falana, Barrister Maxwell Opara and Deji Adeyanju, alongside senior Labour leaders, Ajaero departed Pascal Bafu's Labour House, the headquarters of NLC in Abuja, at about 10 o'clock a.m. However, the police interrogation lasted less than an hour. Ajaero, who returned to the Labour House amidst cheers from Nigerian workers, further vowed that the Labour movement was worth dying for because of patriotism and commitment. He said that the police interrogation was routine and that he fully cooperated with the authorities. However, the incident will not deter the NLC from its mission. Ajaero reiterated the NLC's demands that the minimum wage and other steps to boost the welfare of Nigerian workers be implemented. He added that the Labour movement will not be distracted by any external challenges. One of the NLC legal representatives, Barrister Maxwell Opara, also took the opportunity to call for the release of individuals detained during the End Bad Governance protests, urging the authorities to either charge them in court or release them if their detention had exceeded the legally permissible period. In a show of solidarity, senior officials from the NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC, represented by the Secretary General Nuhu Toro, were present at the gathering to reinforce the unified front of Nigeria's labour movements. And finally, on the news, federal government gives traders 1 month to reduce high food prices. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has given 1 month pause to traders and other market stakeholders involved in exploitative pricing to crush the prices of goods. Tunji Bello, the newly appointed executive vice chairman of the FCCPC, said this at a one-day stakeholders engagement on exploitative pricing on Thursday in Abuja. According to him, the commission will start enforcement after the moratorium. He said the meeting was to address the rising trend of unreasonable pricing of consumer goods and services and the unwholesome practice of market associations. He said the nasty practices, including price fixing, was threatening to the stability of the economy. Under Section 155, violators, whether individuals or corporate entities, face severe penalties, including substantial fines and imprisonment if found guilty by the court. This is intended to deter all parties involved in such illicit activities. However, our approach today is not punitive. I therefore call on all stakeholders to embrace the spirit of patriotism and cooperation. It is in the spirit that we are given a moratorium of 1 month, September, before the Commission will start firm enforcement, he said. Bello said the government was aware of most of the problems raised by the market stakeholders. Some of the market stakeholders who spoke at the engagement said high cost of transportation, insecurity, multiple taxation, among others, were reasons for the continuous hike in prices of goods and services. Fanyo Konko, the chairman National Association of Nigerian Traders FCT chapter, said that charges on imported goods at the ports also contributed to the hike in prices. Okonko appealed to the Commission to set up a task force and involve the association in its enforcement. A recap of major stories says U.S. Army defends Arlington Walker push during Trump visit. Trump promises free IVF, slams 6-week abortion plan. Ukraine says U.S. made F-16 fighter jet crash kills pilot. Japan's ruling party faces a generational clash for leader, and Macron defends granting citizenship to Telegram's CEO. And that's all on the news. Thanks for watching. I am Lois Turaki. Enjoy the weekend.